What's good, Council of Comics? We're doing Antman and the Wasp QUANTUMANIA. Oh, let's go.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? As soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life.
Go.
Don't believe what you've read or heard. It's good.
I don't understand what's wrong with some people. I really don't understand. I was so scared to see this movie. So scared. I follow Power of X-Men and Black Gay Comic Geek, and they were just underwhelmed. And then I reached out to Angel and asked him how he felt, and he's like 4.5 out of 10, man. And I was like, I was hurting to go see this movie, hurting, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm feeling aches and pains. And I'm sitting in the theater, and I'm thinking about what everyone said. Like one of them said the comedy was like all off and all over the place, you know, like, and I was like, and like, you know, like the first half hour of the movie is nothing but jokes. So I'm waiting for the first half hour of the movie to be awful and to be basically like Love and Thunder, the remix, right? And that was not what I found at all. There was still some like standard jokes in there, but like it didn't push me so hard that I was removed from the movie. There's also some things where people are like, oh, the graphics look very Spy Kids, you know, Lava Lad, Shark Girl. There are two scenes that really bother me because they're like that, but that is it. Other than they bother me, it was not enough to crash this movie.
This is one of the best looking Marvel movies.
Visually,
oh no, it's stunning. It's when they actually enter the quantum realm, it is gorgeous. So I just wanted to open with that because I was so scared to see it, and I was like, it's actually good.
5 of us here already, you know, we're on the same page. we need a dissenting
if somebody else wants to go, I mean, I didn't hate it.
Thank God.
Okay. I didn't hate it. I'm actually gonna go see it again. I think I need to see it again. Like I said, I had said on Instagram, I thought visually it was beautiful visually. There were the scenes that I thought were funny were like when it was had the far off shots that looked nice and all that, but just the scenes when people are together having dialogue and they have a giant green screen or blue screen behind them, and that kind of looked a little like low budget or something, like Spy Kids to me.
That happens a couple times.
The first part of the movie, I loved it. I don't know why they were saying it was, you know, the first half hour was bad. I think the first part of the movie was one of the best parts. The middle, the second little arc had me, like, I was sitting there like, oh, come on, like, what's going on? What's going to happen?
You mean when they were trying to go to the core, the center?
That part, like the second little arc around there, it kind of started losing me a little bit.
The probability thing was a bit, I was like,
Well,
I thought it was very weird and interesting, and like, you know,
weird. It was weird.
But like, it needs to be weird, like, you know.
Well, it's a sciencey thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a super science thing. Well, it's only something a comic book could throw at you.
Yeah. Right. It's a class,
and it's all theoretical anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's comic book science, is what it is, and it's weird and it's awkward and strange, but it is what it is. It's part of the charm of it. I mean, to me, I didn't
hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I was just.
That's respectable.
I expected more at first because it was the way it was advertised was like the next phase, and it was, you know.
But I thought we got that though.
Kang was bad as hell.
Kang was amazing.
And
Jonathan Majors.
I think this. Go ahead.
Are you doing spoilers or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
They try to say he got beat by ants, but technically, by ants, and then he got beat by the wasp last minute. Like, she didn't do anything in the movie, you know, basically, if you think about it.
We said that she should have had more.
It was more like
something a little bit more to do.
It was more like this Ant-Man and Janet Wasp, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Janet was great, other than withholding information, which was upsetting, but other than that.
The fact that she slept with Bill Murray.
That was hilarious. She's like, a woman has needs, and everyone's like, shut up!
And then Hank Pym's like, I have needs too.
I
had 5 times. Her name was Burmese.
No, she had something with the Bill Murray character.
Yeah, but it felt like maybe her and Kang, because they were.
I said that too. I was like, yo, they were chilling for what, a couple of years?
Yeah, but I gotta, like, even though something could have happened there, I gotta tell you this. The chemistry with the two of them on screen was fantastic. She has not missed a beat since her days as Catwoman.
She's excellent.
Wow.
When she found out, when she touched it, and she started to
Oh
see.
yeah, that
Yep.
was good.
Then their interaction with
Yeah.
each other, like I was like,
That
oh,
was good.
You know,
Yeah.
and of course it was beautiful because you get a spark of Janet the hero, which like because our only other time that our only other well no we always get a spark of Janet the hero in like every movie because like the first movie we don't meet her as Michelle Pfeiffer, but we know that she gave herself up
Right.
to
Yes.
stop that atomic bomb. The next time we meet her, she sees Ghost and she immediately uses the residual quantum energy inside her to heal her, right? And then of course we get her here in this movie and we learn that she was a badass in the quantum realm.
Absolutely.
But also the minute she realizes something's up with Kang, she's just like it's like, oh, I'm gonna use a part of my technology, turn into the Wasp, and get this orb away from him.
For me, growing up, the Avengers comics that I grew up on, when I jumped in to start collecting it, Janet was the leader of the Avengers. So to me, from a very early age, I've known Janet Van Dyne to be like one of the badass heroes of the Marvel universe. So to have her brought into the movie universe, being played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who is amazing, obviously, and just doing cool stuff in these movies, very heroic, very on point as a hero. And to me, I mean, that was just like just living out like childhood. You know what I mean? Dreams of just like
Oh,
what I
no,
read as
yeah.
a kid. I think she's just spot on and just one of the best additions to the MCU ever. As far as I'm
And
concerned.
this movie proves it. But
Yes.
but going back to her and John, I don't know. I can't imagine what it was like them filming together, reading the script. I can't imagine. But they're and I don't know if it was one of those things where they're just so committed that the chemistry was magical on screen, but they are so good together. Every
Absolutely.
scene they're in together is electric, and it's like wow. So I'm really impressed with that. And that I want to stand by is the price of admission to that movie alone. If you don't enjoy anything else, the two of them, Kang's introduction is so fantastic. Well, at least for me, because what people said in the
just to run
audience.
through the movie real quick, so we can just do more of our thoughts on it and actually go through the movie. The movie basically, Ant-Man and family, we'll call them, get sucked into the quantum realm because MODOK finds a signal.
Let's talk about MODOK.
Hold on, finds their signal.
Yeah.
Kang brings them into the quantum realm. He needs them to go to get the core that Janet put down there. They get the core. He brings it back. Kang is gonna go into the rest of the outside world to conquer the other Kangs that exiled him there. Antman and the Wasp, and then they defeat Kang. Kang, quote unquote, dies. They come out of the quantum realm. Ant-Man's left with the feeling because Kang told him some disaster is gonna come,
Something worse.
and I had to stop it worse. So he's like, "Is that really gonna happen?" Blah blah blah. Ends on a happy note. End credit scene. We see Immortus. We see Ramatut. We see. They're saying it's the Centurion.
Scarlet
Scarlet
Centurion.
Centurion is the other one. And then we see the arena with the Kangs. They even did the comic book face, the ugly face, for the end, which is really cool. And they're basically saying the other Kang is dead, but now we have to go after, I'm guessing, the heroes that are messing with the multiverse. And this is going to start the thing. So that's the movie in a whole. I thought they talked about the multiverse excellently. It set us up beautifully for where we're going in this. I don't think Kang's dead.
I mean, I do
Well,
because
that
this
is that
Kang-
Kang.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think
That
this
Kang.
Kang's dead. I think he's gonna go into an ultra universe and become like Beyonder Kang,
That's what's
and then come
Could
back
be.
at the end of Kang Dynasty. I think Kang Dynasty is gonna be the Kangs that we saw in the end credit scene.
Yep.
Going after what Cliff was talking about, the multiversal Avengers.
which I would love. I would
Yeah.
love to see different squads of Avengers
Sure.
Yeah.
battling
Well-
Kangs, through time and space.
I think that's one thing that everybody has to keep in mind, because again, this was the same thing last year with Multiverse of Madness, where people had crazy expectations and they thought like Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
and Tobey Maguire were going to walk out of a portal.
Yeah.
They're building to Secret Wars. That's going to be the big multiverse movie. All of this
Yeah.
stuff is just breadcrumbs that they're laying to get there. We have to all kind of keep our expectations. They're not just going to, because if they do all this now, what's
Yeah.
left for Secret
Like
Wars?
I think of in Avengers 5, it's not gonna be the other franchise actors from remember the older franchises.
Yeah.
It'll be multiversal of the Avengers that we know in the MCU.
Yeah.
And then Secret Wars will be
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman
Yep.
and Tobey Maguire
I think so, too.
and all that for the Secret
The big
Wars.
movie.
Now that
Yeah.
thing that Kang was saying, that he's saying the danger's coming later on or whatever. I feel like that's what they're trying to say, that it's the incursion. That
Yes.
He's probably trying to stop an incursion.
Well,
because of
it's
the other
funny
Kang.
because this Kang is the exiled one, and the first Kang we met is the one who remains.
He Who Remains.
And he who remains succeeded in defeating the other Kangs because he just kept nipping every other alternate
Wouldn't
timeline
it
in
be
the butt.
something that they killed another Kang that could have stopped?
Well, this.
Well,
You know what I mean? What if he was really going to stop the bad thing that was coming?
That's what I thought. He was trying to stop the incursion, and he was going to go up against the other Kangs for that.
Yeah, what if he's the good guy in the Kang versus Kang thing?
I mean, you
You
know,
know what I
I mean, of them, probably the good guy. But like Janet
You're
said, he
stuck
wants
in
to
a
do it
no-win
for,
situation. Like,
Yes.
right,
you have
and he
beat
wants to
him,
do
you
it
know
for
what I mean?
revenge.
Yeah.
You know,
he would save the universe, but the problem is everybody would be enthralled to him. He would be the ruler of the
You're
universe.
losing
Of the
either way.
multiverse.
Yes, of that universe, right, of that
Yeah.
timeline.
you know. Oh, right, which which would then bring him back to being he who remains.
Right. True.
Yeah.
True.
Well, this guy don't got. He who remains didn't have the scars, did he?
Yeah, he did.
He
Yes.
who remains had the scarlet
Mhm.
face.
Yeah, those little things.
So
I thought this movie was really good.
I loved it.
Fun.
But for me personally, like, I think back on everything I said about Doctor Strange and all the other stuff, and
This is what that should have been.
and no, it was more like, because this movie I didn't go watch spoiler reviews.
Mhm.
I didn't get any tidbits. I went into it, somewhat what you can avoid and stuff
Just
like
with
that.
trailers and stuff.
Yeah, and just went into it, and I was thoroughly enjoyed because I did not know what was coming
Absolutely.
next. And I feel like that's what ruined it for the other movies.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange, like you said, I was waiting for all this stuff, and we got an
Some of that.
Illuminati, but what they told us was gonna be this extra Illuminati, like, and it kind of like, and I have to take back, and I regret all the things that I said about Doctor Strange. I need to go back and watch it again with a clean mind.
I gotta tell you, I've watched it multiple times, and and although I still enjoy much of it,
There's some.
the
I'm
dream
sure.
thing, the dream thing bothers me so much.
Dreamwalker?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Not the dream walking, the fact that when you dream, that's
Oh, that
that's a
part.
multiverse.
Yeah, that's
I
what
was
I
like, this line needs to be scorched from MCU. Like this, it bothers
know.
me too much.
I admittedly do love that movie. I can't help it because
I liked it too.
I think for me that, and not to turn this review into
Yeah.
talking about that movie, for me a big part of like my enjoyment of that movie is just having Sam Raimi doing superhero stuff again.
Yes.
And that was a big part of it. But overall, I did really. There's just a lot to that movie that I really do like. But that and like Love and Thunder, and some of the other recent Marvel movies, which I've enjoyed like all of them anyway. But those are movies that I can understand. Like maybe okay, you might find a fault with this, or this just isn't my style of movie. It's hard for me. No offense. With this movie, with Quantumania, I'm genuinely perplexed. If you're a Marvel fan or you're a comic book fan, how you cannot just at least enjoy it. Like, but there's people,
And, like,
but there's people who
appreciate
straight up, but there's people who straight up like hate this
No, I
movie.
don't think it
who
was
are
bad.
yeah,
And
no,
I can't,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
can't believe how many people complained about the ants. So the
It's an
ant-
Ant-Man movie,
The
dude.
ants,
What do you
the
want?
ants are in you know, it's so funny because we got 2 Ant-Man and 2 Wasp in this movie, right? And I kind of love that. But the ants are part of his experiment in the house.
They set it up in the beginning.
They set it up in the beginning, and they're all sucked through the quantum realm. And then they develop their own super science society. So it's not like he's just being attacked by regular old ants. These ants are like super geniuses,
Yeah.
you know, that are just like pounding away at him.
I appreciate the fact that we got 3 movies with Hank Pym.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For real, that's
I
my boy.
appreciate that
Did he
so
say he's
much.
done or something? He's done?
I don't know
No,
that
but
he's
just
done,
having
but
that though, you
Right,
know,
and
how
he
they
was
already started off
he
with
was
the
never on a
old-
continual
It was the
contract.
old
right.
Hank Pym, and I was like, oh, we're not really gonna see like Hank Pym, but we got 3 movies with him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think he had more. I felt like they gave him and Michelle Pfeiffer more to do.
Wait,
This
yeah, it
movie.
was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Like he's not the Hank Pym of the comics.
Well, the Hank Pym of the
You
comics
know,
now is so convoluted.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
even like this
Yeah.
is. I mean,
This
you
guy
know,
could never merge with
No.
Ultron. And,
No,
and
no,
all-
thank God, too.
Imagine if they do something.
and
Secret
or
Wars.
smack his wife
They're
around
big.
too.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
know?
say,
No,
Cut that out.
these characters. That's
She
not
would-
happening.
She's
That's-
not taking that.
Yeah, that's not happening here.
You can try
I-
to smack Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
She
Michelle
put up
Pfeiffer
with
will be
it.
like, "Let me show you." You know something. By the way, she practices with the whip since the days of Catwoman to now, like every week. She practices with the whip,
I am
and
a
I
married
love
man,
that.
by the way. I'm not gonna say anything else.
Did you think it would be a
Will
best
she
Ant-Man?
show up in the Flash?
I
Oh,
wondered,
no.
like her or Jack Nicholson.
Well, he's dead.
Uh,
The
yeah,
Joker
come
one.
on, it's a comic book.
Oh,
It's just comic book.
yeah, it's totally right.
But you guys didn't feel like it was even though you could enjoy it, I feel like it was a rip on it almost felt like a Rick and Morty episode.
You're
A lot
right,
of
because you know
random
what? It
characters,
was
a
written
lot
by
of
some Rick
random
and Morty
stuff.
guys.
It really felt like
With the
Broccoli guy.
a lot of
Oh,
But that guy's
I
hysterical,
saw,
though.
I saw that coming.
I saw that. I was like, "You're totally right about that, Angel." Because I was like, "Come on,
But
man,
I'm
you
okay
could
with
have,
it.
you could
yeah,
have
it was
resisted that."
wasn't-
but
yeah.
at first, like I didn't expect that, so I think like when I go see it again, I might enjoy it more. But that whole
I
Rick and
think you
Morty
are going to
episode-
see it.
What did you
enjoy
think
it
of
more.
MODOK?
Yeah.
MODOK.
But you got kids, right?
It was funny. Yeah,
You're gonna see it through a different light with that,
I
too.
can't say much about MODOK because honestly, I don't think I've actually even read a comic with MODOK in it, to be honest. So I don't know.
He was better. This
I
is
didn't know
better
what to
than any
expect. So I
comic
thought,
book.
hey, it was
In
alright.
my
It kind of looked a
opinion.
little funny sometimes in the
Yeah.
with the screen.
When he
I-
had the face plate,
That was
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, that's terrifying."
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was scary for real.
Yeah, and then it was just like with his big face and
That was
everything.
hysterical.
It was. I was like, I like it, but it's like creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, but it's so intentionally like,
Yeah.
In
like
your
basically,
face.
yeah, in your face. Like MODOK is such a bizarre character, and they basically said, "Oh, we're gonna take this and we're gonna lead hard into the bizarreness of the
Yes.
character." So,
Yeah.
like, yes, because I can't imagine
And
what else I would
honestly,
do with MODOK.
The actor did a great job.
Yeah, man, he's
Because
good.
I felt bad for
It
him
was
when
funny.
Kang threw him against the wall.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I kind of felt bad for him.
At least I
And
died
in
in
the
Avenger.
comics, MODOK's just kind of a one note kill.
Yeah.
And this one, at least you get his motivation. Like I was left for
Yeah.
trash, and I mean something now again.
Yeah.
You know.
And
that
you know, it's
line at
funny.
the end was funny. Like I'm an Avenger.
Yeah, at least I died in Avenger, right? But you know what? I have to
That's
say, the one thing
That
that
was
was
a little love and tenderness, right?
I
there.
knew going into it that it was going to be Darren Cross that was going to be MODOK. That
Oh,
got
I
spoiled a
didn't
while
know
ago, but I didn't even put it together till I was watching the movie. How cool it was to actually bring him back in this, and with Cassie now aged up and as a hero now and interacting with him, because that just goes back. That ties right back to the first one.
Where it's like, you were in my bedroom trying to kill me when I was 6. Thanks.
Right, and that was a big part of what led to her. She looked at her dad and was like, "That's what I want to be now. At some point, I want to be a hero."
It's,
Don't be a dick.
yeah, well,
It's
it's,
never
all,
too
it's,
late
it's
to
never
not be a
really
dick.
not be a dick.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of bothered me. I'm like, so he just got persuaded so fast with one line after years of working for Kang and being there. He's like, just don't be a dick. Okay, that's it. I'm a good guy
Yeah,
now. It was
that was
like,
a big-
Yeah,
Well,
but
no,
he's crazy though too.
Yeah,
like,
well, no,
in his
he's
right mind.
his mind is already fractured
Yeah.
for multiple reasons. Living in the quantum realm and what was done to him to make a MODOK, that's enough more than enough to have the fractured mind thing going on. But then the fact that Cassie is someone who tried to kill and gives him this line, right? And it's kind of, and the fact that he's just been his whole time down there, he's just been a puppet,
Mhm.
you know. So yes, do
Kang-
I
Kang
believe?
kind of flicked him away. Like,
Right. Do I believe that a switch could have flipped in his head easily? Like, yeah, sure, of course. But again, I mean, like, it was just like a super ridiculous character in the midst of all this, but I was still okay with it. Kang never stops being a threat
Yeah.
when he's on screen, and that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
I want to defend Hope Van Dyne a little bit. She doesn't have any super amazing lines, and they don't give her like something to do integral to the plot, but
She
She
does.
but she does help with the
she
heist.
Is the,
She,
But she's
I
like
gotta
a
say, like,
backbone
she
character.
knows, like, okay, we're helping. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
if-
no hesitation. in
And
her
she
character.
takes all
if
her
not
scenes,
for
she
her,
takes
Scott,
action.
Scott doesn't get the core.
Right, she's the one who flies down there. And even if she's flying
That's one of
down,
my favorite scenes. too.
Janet is in her head. She's like, ignore them, the probabilities. And she's like, first of all, she's like, Mom, how do you even know that? And second of all, she just keeps flying in and she just stays the course. She
Yes.
just keeps her mind on the task as much as she can. And she like scoops them up so they can get that thing. And even at the end where she just comes back out through the portal and starts attacking Kang. And by the way, that is why Kang really gets beat. So many people are like,
Yes.
oh,
It
but like
wasn't
he
an
does
X.
not expect her, right? But she genuinely loves Scott. She's not gonna leave him alone there, even if they get trapped. She's coming to help. And like I thought all of her moments were actions speaking louder than words, and I love that. And so like that's my defense of her
No.
character in this movie.
I think that's true, and I think if you look at that character from Ant-Man 1 to now, and the trajectory that she goes from those movies, I think you see growth in that character.
Look at what she's doing at the
Across.
beginning. The PIM Corporation is hers,
Yes.
right? She's developing answers for food, for deforestation. You know, she's wealthy and powerful and putting the work in to restoring the world. And I know it's something the MCU doesn't really go on about, but like think about how important. Oh, they did bring up the blip, but think about how important her work is for the people affected by the blip,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So like her creating housing and fighting deforestation and making better food supplies. She's just trying to help accommodate the population.
Like the daughter was arrested for like protesting because they were like removing the homeless camp.
The
from
homeless
the
camp,
people
yeah.
From
So,
the blip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there was. I want to say over and under way more serious tone things going on here that I thought were really good and good for the greater MCU storyline.
I think they set up Cassie pretty well.
I think
Yes,
so, too.
I can't wait for some Young Avengers.
Yeah, 'cause she's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
She's gonna be one of those big minds.
I think so
I think
too.
the pacing for this was like really good. Like it didn't feel like it was getting long at all. Like it's solid like 2 hours.
I mean, there's that like one section in the middle where it's just a little tiny lull, and like, but like honestly, like you get right through it.
Yeah.
It's pretty smooth.
All right, so
Did you guys think it was the best Ant-Man movie?
yes.
Yeah.
I still like the first one.
I really like the first one.
I
think it's
still
tied
like the
for
first
first
one.
one.
but
I think it's tied for me with
in
the
its
first.
overall like effect on the MCU, this one.
For the
second
MCU,
is-
yeah. Like
So
the
I
other
got-
the other Ant-Man movies were, you could tell like they were separate, and this was
Mhm.
more like, okay, we need this movie to connect everything.
Yeah.
Further.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
I got two things. One, what do you think about Rama Tut possibly being the villain in the Fantastic Four movie? Because that is where he comes from.
That is neat, but I suspect the Fantastic Four will battle him in Kang Dynasty.
So you don't think Kang will have?
Ooh, I like that.
But
I like that.
see,
Because I think in the phases to come, there's gonna be Kangs in different movies.
I
that
think
they're
it's gonna
fighting.
be Kang with like he did, like Fantastic Four. With
Yeah.
everybody is gonna be different versions
Yeah.
of Kang.
The
And
Loki
that's who's
series.
well, yeah, remember that
Yeah.
too.
That's not the other
And
end
also,
credit scene.
if you read
Victor
the newer
Timely.
Kang story, like he even ties in with bringing in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
True.
In the newer one.
Yeah.
And I think
Right,
they're
'cause
gonna
he
use
raised
Kang-
Apocalypse.
Yeah,
So
I
if
think
he
they're gonna
hadn't-
use Kang to in every little piece right now forward for Phase 5.
So I just because of that last credit scene with the Loki, which I think is probably just a scene from an
It's
episode. It's just a scene from an episode, right?
Yeah.
And Victor Timely, that just didn't click with me, so I looked it up. I had never read. There was a storyline from the '90s called Citizen Kang. Did you?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And that's where that all comes from. Timely, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
21.
annuals, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I'll be curious to see because the point of that was that Kang had gone back and influenced technology at the turn of the century, and that some of that technology was used to create the original Human Torch,
Yeah.
and then it was being found in Fantastic Four tech and
I
Tony
like
stuff.
that
So I wonder if they're
theory.
gonna.
Because Doctor Doom will not be the villain.
See, I don't think so either because they've
I
done
don't
him in
think
every
so.
FF
Did
movie.
they like
think
confirm
so.
that?
They gotta
I
say
Really
it.
confirmed it won't be
Yeah,
done.
it won't be
Oh,
done.
That would be
I
cool,
believe so.
right?
Won't be Doom.
It'll
And
be
they
interesting.
show a Kang Doom. Did you see it?
Oh, they
No.
did?
No,
There's a Kang Doom.
really.
So maybe
Yeah.
Also-
I could see Kang Doom then. if
Yeah.
it's not
I'm
top
very
secret.
interested to learn: is this Kang? Is Kang
He's related. Doom.
the descendant of Reed Richards and Victor
Yeah.
Von Doom?
I
Yeah.
think they're
Right.
gonna say that. They're
Yeah.
gonna say
Because they say that the
It's possible. for
portal
both.
thing
that. Yeah.
that Reed
It's his technology.
John Krasinski came out of.
Yeah, it was the
That's
turn.
that's a Doom portal,
Yes.
and that's where Kang got
was
his
using, yeah.
his portal.
But
thing.
in the comics, that's never been 100% confirmed.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
has?
No, never. No, you're right. No,
No.
I'm saying it's never been confirmed. It
Yeah.
could be
Then
either
she's
way.
Gonna,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
try to push it, and of course, the comics is gonna.
Yeah.
Whatever that
There's even a funny comic where they're like on a road travel together,
Yeah.
Kang and Doom.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I seen that.
They have their like conversations and stuff like that.
Aren't they like in like aren't they in like a sphere and they're like traveling through time and space and like arguing about stuff?
They're trying to get to another place, but they have to do it on the low so they don't get detected. So they travel normally, and they meet people along the way.
Was that the Doctor Doom book from
I
recently?
forget which book it,
It might
was,
have been the.
but they're just bickering like back and forth, but becoming friends
Yeah, yeah.
at the same time. This is weird.
It's tremendous.
All right, so that's Quantumania, everybody. What do you think? Did you like Quantumania? Did you not like Quantumania? Did you think it set us off on the right path for Phase 5? Leave a comment below. Remember to like and subscribe. Remember, we got tons of other reviews on the channel, so check the playlist, check everything. All right? Let us know what you think. So, for myself and the rest of the Council of Comics and Empire Comics with Angel, we thank you, we love you, we'll see you next time. Peace.